Hi guys, God bless you. I was guided to basically tell you guys something that's very important, and I think a lot of Christians are neglecting this, and it's actually getting very frustrating that people call themselves Christians, and I don't think they understand what Jesus meant when he said love one another. Okay? Also, I don't think people understand to be a real disciple of Jesus, that means doing certain things. Okay? So, John chapter 14, verses 34 and 35. A new commandment I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Okay? So, firstly, if you call yourself a Christian, then you should be loving towards not only people, but also animals. Like, everything that is sentient, even plants. Like, being nice and good to everyone and everything. That is part of being a good Christian. That is part of being a disciple of Christ. This is the part where I really would like to emphasize. John chapter 14, 15, verses 15 to 22. This is Jesus speaking, okay? If you love me, keep my commands. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth, also known as the Holy Spirit. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me, because I live. You also will live. On that day you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them. So, this is really important, because if people really love Jesus, if they truly love Jesus, then they follow God's commandments. So if there are people out there that lie out of their butt and steal and cheat and commit adultery and do not treat others as they wish to be treated, those are not lovers of Jesus. Because if they were lovers of Jesus, they would not be lying. They would not be stealing. They would not be committing adultery. They would not be murdering. Okay? So, I think it's also important to explain what the commandments are. Because I think a lot of people really need a refresher on this. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 5, starting at verse 6. So, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Think about this. If God is love, okay, 1 John 4:8, in that sentence it says God is love. Okay, what had to have been created first in order for other quote-unquote gods to exist? Well, the energy of love. So, love is sort of like the encompassing thing that created everything else. So, thou shalt not make any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of those that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor, and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out thence through a mighty hand by a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy mother and father. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. In my opinion, this includes second-degree murder, and that includes the murdering of animals. Second degree, so you're paying someone to murder for you. Thou shalt not kill, which technically, by destroying animals, we are killing in an indirect way. This is why I refuse to eat animals, because I love Jesus tremendously, and I do not want to contribute to the death or suffering of anyone or anything, because that's the way that I want to be treated. So, just a heads up for those that are like, say they love Jesus but don't quite understand the depth of what following the commandments actually mean. Thou shalt not, neither shalt thou commit adultery. Adultery is not only having sex outside of marriage. Adultery is also worshiping individuals that are not God. Okay? So, thou shalt not steal. Neither thou shalt bear false witness against thy neighbor. Technically your neighbor is everyone. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt you covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words of the Lord spake unto all your assembly in the mount of the clouds, of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them into two tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. So, this is so important, you guys. It's just, treat others as you would, like, if you love God, like, if you truly love God, then follow his commandments. Like, Jesus was walking God on earth. So, if you really love Jesus, you prove it by following his commandments. And if you want to take this, like, extra seriously, I would like you to look at Genesis 1:29-30, basically showing us how God wanted us to eat plants initially. Why? Because it didn't contribute to the suffering and death of sentient life. Sentient being all humans, all animals, all entities that have feelings and emotions and like psychological awareness. Okay? So, if you love Jesus, follow God's commandments. Very simple. So if you claim to be Christian and you don't follow commandments and you sin and think nothing of it, well, no offense, but you don't love Jesus. Because the people that truly love Jesus follow God's commandments and do their utmost not to sin. Okay? So, just a reminder, I would recommend repenting, and if following commandments is hard for you, or if it's hard for you to stop sinning, well then ask God. I've been praying and asking God this for a long time. I ask God, please make it extremely easy for me to follow your commandments and not sin. I also ask God to please correct me so I can be in line with that. Because following God's commandments and not sinning is what love is meant to be. That is the definition of what love is meant to be. Being good to each other is essentially following God's commandments and not sinning. That's what love is meant to be. God is love. And if love created everything, okay, let's just put this into our perspective here. If love created everything, okay, if God created everything, heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1, okay, that means love created everything. Could you imagine the possibilities and the potential of what we could achieve if all of us applied love as it's meant to be? Nothing would be impossible. Okay? God bless you all.